All right, let's just get right to it, shall we? This is embarrassing. By the way, I don't know if you noticed, but there are a number of players who have played for the Fobianos this year who are already on the major league club. So Lajas has not been afraid
Oh,
to do that. I don't know how effective that is as a strategy. Neither one of these teams is good this year. The
ah.
major league team, I mean.
Are there any rules about that when players can move, or is it just at the discretion of the team? If they want to move players, they do it.
Not in this era. In 1922, with the entry of the free agency system, things got
Hmm.
kind of interesting. There's supposed to be an age limit that means only 18-year-old players and above can be
Yep.
at the major league level. That has not worked out in practice so far. Teams have flouted that in a number of ways.
Hmm.
So there's a question as to whether we're even going to have, pardon me, younger players be a thing.
Yeah.
It might just have to be 18 and up, which is fine. That is how the current major leagues work. But we were kind of hoping to have an academy system, something more akin to football in Europe, where you get scouted, you get picked up by an academy, you play for them when you're not going to school or whatever, and then eventually that team would hopefully then bring you onto the major league squad.
Hmm.
Um, we try to be very principled about this, and oh boy, that is cloudy.
Looks like the sky here right now.
It is straight up raining. The temperature is 31 degrees, so it's a warm, muggy rain too. And the wind is blowing left to right, so that'll do interesting things to the baseball. Though we're still not convinced that there is any consistency with this stuff.
Yeah.
So, before we are tempted to discuss more random things about the Liga Nacional Puertorriqueña, whatever, and if this is your first stream, please feel free to drop in, ask questions. That's exactly what we're here for. We should probably read the starting lineups and get to the first pitch. But before we do that, every single game in the Liga Nacional Puertorriqueña system has to start with a word from the greatest and best, the Jupiter Optimus Maximus of our sponsors. Who is that, Louisa?
We were talking about the brightest star in the firmament, and that is Dr. Gonzalez and his wonderful wood tar. Patients have been cured over 15 years with it. Chronic colds, rogue coughs, abundant chest discharges, asthma, bronchitis, and other respiratory ailments, all cured by it. It helps with consumption and with bladder catarrh, which is inflammation. It purifies overhumored blood, and it whets the appetite for fattening. Important. Not to be confused with other Dr. Gonzalez wood tar liquors. Accept no substitutes. And of course, it's sold in all good pharmacies, especially San Juan's own Farmacia Guillermetti at the corner of Calle de San Francisco and Calle de la Cruz.
Thank you very much, Louisa. It's time to get this game on, well, get this game started, shall we? First, the starting lineup for the visiting Fobianos de Lajas. Leading off and playing right field, number 6, Santiago Garcia. Batting second, the designated hitter, number 10, Fernando Olivares, who has the worst goatee I've ever seen.
He's got an outline for where he's going to build that goatee in the future.
Exactly. Yes, he's laid down the site plan. Batting third, the second baseman, number 24, Saturnin Silvestre. Name.
Ooh.
Oh,
Comic book hero name.
he's not a good player, but he's got a 5-star name. That man, I think we're
Yep.
seeing a manager in the making here. Batting fourth and playing first base, number 49, Fernando Palma. Batting fifth and playing third base, number 31, Alvaro Laurel. Batting sixth and playing shortstop, speaking of comic book names, it's number 44, Gabriel Gutierrez. Batting seventh and playing left field, number 51, Narciso Rodriguez. That is a very old looking 19-year-old man.
Yeah, for sure.
Batting eighth and catching, number 35, Keith McIntyre. Continuing the proud tradition of Scottish catchers. Well, actually Scottish and Irish. Michael Reed is probably the best Scottish catcher in the top leagues right now. And then I don't know if it's supposed to be pronounced Ryan, but it's spelled Rian.
Mhm.
Higgins on the Frios is probably the best Irish catcher in the league right now.
Nice.
And batting ninth and playing center field, number 58, Juan Carlos Garcia. And now the starting lineup for your Napoleónicos de Yauco. Batting leadoff and playing shortstop, number 6, Xyzzy Plugh. Batting second and playing center field, number 19, Herminio Argueta. Batting third, the designated hitter, number 5, Alvaro Santos. Batting fourth and playing first base, number 34, Vicente Martin. Batting fifth, and the second baseman, number 36, Kenneth Buchanan. And I try to reserve my comments on players' appearance, but can I just say he looks like he should be playing on the other team?
He does look very alien. Yes, you're right, and haunted.
I want to believe.
Yeah.
Batting sixth and playing third base, number 48, Jesus Nunez, who is more mustache than man.
And he's only 21. Incredible.
That man has legit Sasquatch genes in him. Batting seventh and catching, number 35, Arsenio Beltran, whose flag I got wrong. Fun fact, he's Mexican, not Puerto Rican. Gonna have to fix that on the slide later, because today is cursed.
Wait, is that not a Mexican flag in the corner there?
That is a Mexican flag. I put a Puerto Rican flag on the slide for him.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Batting eighth and playing left field, number 61, Edmundo Mendez. Looks a lot like a guy I went to elementary school with, actually.
Did he have a mustache in elementary school? Because this guy's only 18.
His dad had that exact mustache.
Nice.
And batting ninth and playing right field, number 20, another comic book ass name, Eufrasio Espinosa. Pitching for the Napoleónicos de Yauco tonight, it's number 29, Ben Brown. And I'll take this moment to say, I read that name when I was making the list, and I go, isn't that like a guy in freaking Game of Thrones? Turns out I was thinking of Brown Ben Plum.
Okay.
He's a mercenary commander in Essos in the books. I'm guessing from your response that he does not show up in the series.
I don't think he does, although they sprinkle in a lot of book characters and barely mention them, and I don't even notice. So.
Now, let me ask you this. Is John, Connington in the series?
Doesn't ring a bell.
He's the guy who's supposed to be helping the young dragon come back from Essos.
No, there's Daenerys' brother, whose name I don't remember. Viserys, is that his name? Anyway.
Yeah, not him.
There's a merchant with like a braided beard who helps them for a little bit, but he kind of falls away.
Yeah, that's Illyrio. Yeah, him I remember. Okay. No, this is supposed to be. There's supposed to be another Targaryen, possibly not real, that gets brought back over to Westeros to be another one, and the noble who's been sort of keeping him away is named John Connington, and I was like, that's an interesting name. And then the other day I discovered that there was an Oxford professor of classics also with that name, and I don't think the two things are related, but they could be. He did translate a lot of Virgil and so on, so if George R. R. Martin ever read some Latin, maybe he ran into the translations and really liked the name.
That's cool, hopefully.
Yeah. So anyway, here we go. Santiago Garcia against Ben Brown. Garcia currently sitting on a 715 OPS. He's got 1 home run, 11 runs batted in. Ben Brown, 8-3 over 141 and a third innings, 113 strikeouts, 60 walks, an ERA of 2.93. Control has been his weak point. But, oh, mama, look at that changeup and splitter in the middle of his arsenal. Really, really complements the slider, curveball, cutter, knuckle curve. This man has a hell of an arsenal. If I were the Navegadores, and I am the Navegadores, I would be going after this guy hard.
Did they sign him 4 days ago?
They traded for him 4 days ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Wow. I didn't even realize that because also, wait. No. Sorry, that was 1903. They traded for him 3 years ago.
Major service 4 days. Does that just mean going up to the majors of the
To the
LMP?
majors, yeah. Although it doesn't look
Gotcha.
here like he. You know what? I'm betting they just put him on the roster or something
Okay.
because he does not appear to have ever played at the major league level.
Interesting. It's funny, when you first sent us the lineup of who was playing today, I was like, oh, Ben Downey. I know Ben Downey, but that's not his name.
Oh,
Ben
where's Ben
Brown.
Downey these days? He was playing for Cabo Rojo during the spring. I don't know if they
Okay.
stuck with him. I can find out really quickly. It's not hard. Let's see here. Ben
Not
Downey.
really a major player, just one of the people I have vague, fond memories of who's passed through our streams.
Honestly, without the Flying Scotsman is a proof of concept. He is currently pitching for a very good Mexican League team for the Carboneros de Coahuila,
Oh, nice.
and they're damn. That's good. I'm very happy for him because he's playing out of the bullpen. So far he has given up 4 hits and 6 2/3. He's doing very well, and the Carboneros are one of the perennial playoff teams in this league, in the Mexican League. So that's really exciting for him. I'm glad he's going to get, because he was in Durango doing absolutely nothing back there. So I'm glad that he's getting a chance to really put it up to another level here.
Nice. Good for him.
Yeah, it's always nice to see one of our former novice succeed and really be able to maintain a high level of play there. All right, it's 24 minutes and we haven't had our first pitch yet. It's time. Let's make this happen. Waiting for the starting pan here. Ooh, that's an interesting distribution here. Not a whole lot of Lajas fans in the audience.
Is there a huge outfield on this park, or is that just perspective?
I don't even know, actually, what the dimensions are. Garcia on the 1-2 count flies out over center field, should be very easily catchable. It is a somewhat big outfield, but I think part of the problem is the wall is so dark that it just appears to kind of fold into itself.
Okay. And all that corn out there. I'm
Exactly.
presuming it's corn.
Yes. Yeah, that's where they send you if they don't want to promote you to the major league roster.
Yep, you just disappear.
Argueta catches that one, and we are off. 4 pitches there. Brown finishing him off with a low cutter. He now faces Fernando Olivarez, the designated hitter, who's sitting on an 868 OPS, 5 home runs, 15 runs batted in. Oh, yeah, we might see a dinger, come to think of it. 2-strike count.
Anything.
Olivarez swings right through that one. Looks like that was a 3-pitch strikeout, finishing with a beautiful splitter away, and he sits him down. His reward is facing switch hitter Saturnin Silvestre, who is batting .362, OPS of 1069.
Nice.
And you know what we always say: if your OPS is a year in the high middle ages, you're doing very well. 4 home runs and 10 runs batted in. Let's see what he can do here with 2 outs, bases empty. The 1-0 count, 2 pitches to decide the at-bat. That is a rocket! Down for extra bases, not quite enough to achieve escape velocity, but Argueta has to launch that ball to the cutoff man, and it'll be a double.
It's funny after you mentioned a dinger. That was so close to being a dinger.
Yeah, didn't quite have the angle on it to make it out of there, but I'm very happy to see what's going on here.
Great numbers on those Yauco team.
The Napoleónicos.
Yes, I forgot it. Yes.
With a man on second and 2 outs, they've got a shot here. Fernando Palma, OPS of 625, 7 homers and 19 runs batted in. Brown, 9 pitches. That was a cutter, by the way, that Silvestre punched away. He's on a real hot streak, now batting .373. Palma, bit of a weaker hitter. Let's see if he can run into one here. He's 0-1 count here. Knocks that one past the third baseman. It slips by him. And they're going to not stop that run. That is going to score the Fobianos. Draw first blood here.
Wow.
And it's 1-0 to Lajas. As Silvestre able to score on the second double in a row. Palma Gets his 20th run batted in of the season. Lajas leads. Another cutter. Maybe lay off that one, Ben. Alvaro Laurel comes next up. OPS of 589. 5 homers. 14 runs batted in. Brown now in real trouble as he's still got a man on second with 2 outs. Let's see if he can keep the ball down here. 2-strike count. I'm excited. Laurel under 200 on the year. Laurel, another hit hard, but Argueta runs up to that one and catches it. The inning is over.
Nice.
The Fobianos pull ahead 1-0 right up top. So it's up to see how Yauco will respond with this. We're very excited to bring you this matchup. Pitching for the Fobianos tonight, it's number 21, Hector Blanco, 168 innings. He is 7-13 on the season, 136 strikeouts to 94 walks, ERA of 4.02. So definitely a worse pitcher. Not a whole lot of control there. This man has no expectation.
We should all be so lucky.
Yeah. Deadly curveball and a pretty good cutter, but he struggles with the slider and changeup, and he can't spot the pitches. That's real trouble for him. He's not going to have a good time here, especially not if Xyzzy here can get on base. Blanco can't hold runners, and McIntyre's got a good arm. Maybe he'll challenge him. Hey, he's from Bishopbriggs in Scotland. I don't know where that is, but it's a great name for a town. Mm-hmm. Anyway, Plugh is hitting .462, 2 home runs, 3 runs batted in. He's got more walks than strikeouts. No, he doesn't. I'm thinking of a different person. But he does have a good amount of walks for a rookie. And the other thing that I'll say for Plugh is he's currently 26 for 26 on stolen bases. So if he goes on the base paths, let's see what that running speed can do for him. 4.02 ERA for Blanco here. He's second in strikeouts in this half of the Principiantes here. Xyzzy's 26 bags is third, and he walks. Cutter misses inside. Good at bat from Colossal Plugh, as they call him, and here comes Herminio Argueta. His batting average is .225. His OPS is 5.69.
Nice.
Damn she fine. 2 home runs and 17 runs batted in. First pitch, and McIntyre can't get the ball out of his hand early enough. Xyzzy has bag number 27.
Nice.
Perfect record so far on the base running. I would be shocked if he doesn't challenge for third with no outs here. 2-2 count.
Steal.
Argueta rolls that one right on the ground there. He might actually make that happen. He doesn't. By a step, McIntyre's throw gets in just a little bit ahead of him. Let's watch that. Good defensive play there from the catcher.
That wasn't a bunt, was it? It just hit the ball at a weird angle.
Yeah, he just didn't quite get the bat on it the way he should have, and that's what happened there, yeah. Sorry, I'm getting a little distracted here, and I shouldn't be. All right, back to it. With 1 out and a man on second, Alvaro Santos here. He's got an OPS of 822, 5 home runs, 22 runs batted in. Let's see if he can do anything to move that runner over.
This guy caught my eye in the lineup because he's the highest rated with his skill level at the moment. But then I saw, as we went through these little headshots, his rating of 45 is the highest his potential is as well. He will never be any better than he is right now.
That's right.
So he's the best player playing, but he's never going to improve. That's sad.
Yeah, there's a lot of these guys that basically, especially for a guy like him, he's a first baseman. His future, he avoids strikeouts. That might become an important skill at some point, but he is more likely going to be... He's probably never going to be a starter, is what I'm trying to say. This is a guy that you get because you might need a pinch hitter, or you might need a backup one year. And there's a class of guys right now where that is their eventual fate, pretty much. They're going to be backups. They're never going to play at the premier major league level, which kind of sucks. But you do need guys like that. They can sometimes be, I wouldn't say necessarily key contributors, but they fill out a roster in ways that allow a team to play tough games, to have injury depth. Like, they fill a role. They are important.
There's worse things to be than decent at your job.
Exactly. And as somebody who, the most relatable guys on any given team for me are always your 6 inning reliever and like your backup catcher or utility guy. That's really important. Oh, I think he's about to get plunked. And sure enough, first pitch
Oh,
gets away
oh,
from Blanco, who hit the Blanco, because you see, Blanco is a Spanish word for target.
jeez.
And he goes to first. Cutter got away from him. That's 2 on and 1 out for Vicente Martin, who's sitting on a 785 OPS, 5 home runs, 32 runs batted in. Let's see what Vicente can do. 1-0 count. Ooh, he hits that one to a shortstop. That's might be a double play. No, it'll be a fielder's choice. Gutierrez does have it. Silvestre can't bring the ball down and make the play. Oh no. Silvestre is not injured. Looks like he scratched himself up a little bit. Trainer went out there to look at him, but he seems fine. So Xyzzy will be on third and Vicente Martin on first, thanks to the fielder's choice. 2 outs and men on first and third. And here comes Kenneth Buchanan. OPS of 884, 21 homers on the year, by far the most of anybody in either lineup, and 50 runs batted in. Let's see if he can answer effectively here. If he gets some power behind that ball, this becomes a very different ball game immediately. Man on first and third with 2 outs. Let's see what happens. It's a 2-2 count. Buchanan can't quite get it past the third baseman, and it'll be a fielder's choice to second. Laurel throws it over, and the side is retired. That was a high pressure at bat. Buchanan could not quite deliver on it, and we're through one. Lajas is in front 1-0. Before we continue with this game, we did not get a chance to share on social media that we were going to be doing this. So we're going to briefly just kind of alert everybody, hey, there's a stream going on. You should dump in. Let's see what happens. And while we are doing that, Louisa, I think we should let them know some of the things that have happened. It's July 18th right now, 1906. Weirdly, kind of an important day in Liga Nacional Puertorriqueña history. There are more important dates, but we were surprised to find the things that we found.
Mm-hmm. Well, I have one piece of information for you from 1873, which I think is before any of our players were born. But this date, 1873, 3 players, Eliseo Palacios of Florida, or Florida probably the city and not the, yeah.
It is Florida, yes. Good move.
Enrique Ibarra of Culebra, and Alfredo Rodriguez of Ponce all watch their hitting streaks, respectively, of 25, 20, and 21 games die. So this is a sad day for them. Their streaks were over.
Yeah, a lot of we tried to, just because there are so many teams and so many players, we try to only honor hitting streaks that make it to at least 25 games, because otherwise we'd go insane.
Uh-huh.
But when you see 3 things happen on the same day, you notice.
Also, if you're waiting to get to 25 to get a little bit of notoriety, it must really be hard to get out on 20 or 21.
Yeah, I don't even know if at the time, I have to imagine that somebody was maintaining a count. Somebody was saying, hey, this guy seems to be hitting the cover off of the ball game after game after game, right?
Mm-hmm.
But for whatever reason, oh my god, how am I that it god, it's been such a long week. Anyway, for whatever reason,
I'm sorry, I've lost the beginning of the sentence. What were we talking about?
we were talking about hitting streaks and whether people kept track of them in the 19th century.
Oh, yes.
And I think there must have been some kind of centralized data keeping on this, but I don't think they announced it as much as they would now. If you had a player hit in 20 games safely, that would be all over the place. It would be
I,
absolutely well, it wouldn't be absolutely massive, but it would be something that your team's social media would be pushing out there. They'd be making sure that, hey, look, this player's like staying hot every game out there. Because there are guys who go, they're great hitters that go their entire careers without managing to do that.
yeah, I would imagine that at least a player's own ball club would keep track of these sorts of things, but then you would need a centralized list to make sure that they were on the up and up, that the team wasn't juicing the numbers a little bit for publicity.
Yeah, and at the time, you referred to centralized data keeping and all that, and pretty much the Liga Nacional itself was it for scorekeeping. The teams themselves, they would scorekeep to kind of just make sure the other team wasn't getting runs that they weren't supposed to and so on. But in terms of an objective assessment of what was going on the field, that was entirely left up to the league.
Aha, makes sense.
All right, we're in the second inning. Ben Brown, 1 inning, 14 pitches, 2 hits, 1 run, 1 strikeout. He faces Gutierrez, Rodriguez, and McIntyre. Gutierrez sitting on a 642 OPS, 3 homers, 11 runs batted in. Here on a 2-1 count, Gutierrez launches that one high, but it arcs over left field, and that's an easy one for Mendez to get. It's out number 1. Here comes Narciso Rodriguez, the left fielder. He's been struggling, hitting 477, 3 dingers, 6 runs batted in. If you're Narciso Rodriguez, if you don't develop within the next year or so, apparently he was with the Tejedores. He was released, wow, and came over to the Fobianos. So they thought they could do something with him, but it has so far not worked out. On a 2-1 count as well, Brown maybe relaxing here a little. That's a softer fly out, easy for Mendez to get there. That's out number 2.
Mm-hmm.
And here comes McIntyre. He's sitting on a 422, 2 homers, 6 runs batted in. Both of his homers have come on the road, interestingly. I think that's small sample size more than anything, but with 2 outs and the bases empty, McIntyre's a guy with that kind of defense, you could absolutely see him stick somewhere. You can be a 46 overall catcher if you have good defense.
Okay, I was gonna say he's a very good catcher, so that's his usual business.
Oh, here we go. He's hit 1 for 10 against Yauco, and on a 2-1 count, a fly out this time to right. And that's easy peasy for Espinosa out there. And before you ask, I'm not related to him either. That Espinosa is spelled with a Z.
That must be tricky. You must get a lot that people address letters to you with the wrong spelling.
Yes, absolutely. Some people don't even put the E up in front. When they do that, I know they're gringos. When it's Spinoza, it's like, alright.
Yeah. The Italians. I'm going to blame that on the Italians.
I think, well, the philosopher, I think, was Portuguese, but anyway. Alright, so here we go. Bottom of the second, Blanco will face Nunez, Beltran, and Mendez. Beltran and Mendez have been struggling lately. Nunez, 732, 3 home runs, 10 runs batted in. And with Nunez, you got to be careful because even if he himself is not crowding the plate, his mustache is.
That's right.
First pitch to him. Nunez knocks that one into the ground. A chopper there, and it's an easy catch for Silvestre. Throws over to first, and that's out number 1. I do like that the colors here, the teal, the lime, it suggests like a laser beam appearance without necessarily being there, except for the shoulders, I guess. Those do kind of look like an Independence Day ship blasted them.
No, it's a cool look.
Here comes Arsenio Beltran, who came over from the Metropolitanos organization. He's sitting on a 590, 3 home runs, 17 runs batted in. I'm going to guess Beltran came over on the Luis Gallardo trade. Am I right? I am. He came over with Bruno Lefebvre. Another French player, I think the third, but Lefebvre is now in Kitchener in the Canadian League. To count, Wonder Centaur helped him out with that.
That would make sense.
He's at 091 against Lajas here, and he strikes out. First strikeout for Blanco on a curveball, down and in. Couldn't quite catch up to it. So here comes Edmundo Mendez, Sitting on a 570, 6 home runs, 15 runs batted in. This game could turn any which way at any given moment. He's got a 1-2 count against him, and yep, that's exactly what I was expecting. Back-to-back strikeouts for Hector Blanco in both innings. In the second are clean. The Fobianos remain ahead 1-0. It's the top of the third here. Ben Brown facing Garcia, and Olivares. Oh, look, it's a law firm.
What about that strikes you particularly as a law firm type of name?
It's just usually the fact that there's two guys with the same last name, I think, is what usually suggests it. Because it usually means like brothers who both, they're partners in the firm.
Mm-hmm. That does make sense.
Do you know the word in Spanish for a law firm?
No.
It's a bufete.
Huh. Implying what?
I don't freaking know. That's I have no idea why it's called that.
Interesting.
In fact, we're just gonna go ahead and who cares?
Yeah.
Buffet. Oh, interesting. I wonder if it has something to do. Okay, well, we're gonna have to.
They would do a bit of everything, or.
Well, yeah. So it actually does come from. You know what it is? It's like how a cabinet originally referred to like meeting in a small office.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
A buffet in French is a cupboard or a sideboard. So it came to mean the office of or bench or something of a lawyer. And so then it transferred to becoming a law firm.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, as you say, bench, like that's a really good analogy. The same type of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, oh man, there is a Latin term for a banker that specifically refers to. Wait. One of the Latin terms for bankers is a trapezita, which refers to the shape of the bench that they would use.
Oh, pretty good. Okay, yeah.
Or not bench, table, but you get me.
I like that.
Anyway, the first Garcia is sitting on a 541, 5 home runs, 12 runs batted in. And they're calling a rain delay.
Of course.
Classic.
They're trying to make this game not happen, but we're not going to do that. We're not agreeing. We're going to make it happen.
55 minutes rain delay.
Great.
This ought to be interesting.
We love it.
Garcia watches a 2-2 count, and here we go. Strikes out. Second strikeout for Ben Brown, I believe. They're a splitter this time. He will now face Santiago Garcia, who is 0 for 1 on the day. 2-1 count. Garcia sends that one out to center field just like he did the first time. Argueta watches it, chases it down, and he's got it for out number 2. Here he goes against Olivares, who's also 0 for 1. Looks like, wait, what? He's had 1 at bat in the first 3 innings of a game? That can't be right. Is that at the major league level or something? That's insane.
Is that foolhardy to put him there?
He started 5 games. He's got to have had an at bat in the first 3 innings of a game. What even is that? All right, 2 outs, base is empty. Let's see what happens. 2-2 count. Hard hit, deep hit, high hit. Is that gone? And it sure is. That is a home run. Mendez can't get that one. Home run number 6 for Olivares into the corn. And it measured 101 meters. Lajas doubles their pleasure, doubles their fun, but most importantly, doubles their score. They are now up 2-0 after that home run.
Nice. It's a shame we don't get to hear the big foghorn for our home runs here.
Yeah. Yeah, hey, it's quite appropriate. He was wearing space pants because he just sent that ball out of this world.
And his ass impeccable.
Yes, which we definitely saw. Saturnin Silvestre is up. You will remember he's already 1 for 1. He made Ben Brown's life difficult in this exact situation. Let's see what's going to happen. 2 outs and the base is empty for him. Silvestre had a double back in the first inning here on the 2-1 count. He hits that one exactly the same spot. The one part of the field you would have to imagine they would cover, and Argueta not ready for the bounce there. This is going to go in as a triple.
Wow. He's just getting better and better. Incredible.
Silvestre halfway to the cycle in the third inning of this game. And he's got another insurance run, I suppose, sitting there at third base as Brown strolls back to the mound, staring down the guy who just hit his second triple of the season.
Let me ask you this. What if baseball had rules a little bit like cricket, where if you hit a home run, somebody has to scramble and go and try to find that ball, and you keep running the bases and racking up the points? How do you feel about that?
I think that's a thing in some of the baseball European versions. I think that's a thing in like Finnish baseball or something.
Oh, I love the idea of that kind of chaos. How
Yeah.
fast can you run? How many times can you do that? I mean, they're athletes, but I certainly couldn't do
Yeah.
it more than a couple times.
For sure.
Mm.
Well, and wait a second, because I also thought in cricket there was such a thing as a six, right? Which is just automatic 6 runs.
I don't know.
Because I thought that was the closest equivalent to a home run, where it was you hit at a certain distance, and it's just they're just going to give you 6 runs, so that doesn't have to happen.
But I want it to happen also, is the thing.
Well, here comes Fernando Palma, 1-for-1 with an RBI. Let's see if he'll do it again. A slider there. Oh boy. Brown's starting to have some trouble here. Palma, of course, doubled off of him and scored that first run. So Brown didn't want anything to do with him. Let him go. And Brown entered this inning on 26 pitches. He's now thrown 23 in this inning. And he will face Laurel, who's over 1. If he gets him out here, it will all be worth it. 2-1 count. Will it be worth it? Second baseman has it. He takes it himself. And this inning is over. The dinger, and that's all they're going to get. 1 run on those 2 hits. Still very much, very reachable ball game for the Napoleónicos, but they're going to need contributions from everybody involved in this inning. Starting with Eufrasio Espinosa, who might not feel like it. He's currently on a 471 OPS with 5 home runs, 10 runs batted in, and looks kind of like if Ricky from Trailer Park Boys was Puerto Rican.
I will take your word for it.
0-1 count. I would tell you to look up the actor's name, but I don't remember what it is. And Espinosa, in fact, does contribute. He hits a line drive that lands in short left field, and that bloop is the first base hit the Fobianos have gotten in this game. Not their first base runner, as Plugh is coming back up. He, of course, drew a walk first time he came up here with a man on first and no outs. Let's see how they pitch to him.
Did the fielder dive for that ball after it hit the ground? Because that's embarrassing.
That's exactly what happened, yeah. And
they got this guy.
They sure did. Espinosa completely out. By the way, McIntyre, 10 runners thrown out in 63 attempts. Do you know how embarrassing it is to get caught out by that guy?
And it was so clear. Like, he got the ball there way before the runner.
Brutal. All right, 1 out and the base is empty, so that's hope extinguished. Here comes Plugh with a 1-2 count, and he strikes out. Blanco gets the cutter by him. That's the 3rd strikeout for Hector Blanco as he now faces Argueta with 2 outs and the base is empty. This inning looked at first like it might have the makings of something interesting. Argueta 0-for-1 on the day. A lot of specific 2-1 counts in this game for some reason. As he pops that one up, big can of corn out there for Mendes in left field, and he puts the glove up. He's got it. We are through 3 innings. Yauco gets a hit, and that's it, and the score remains 2-0. Fobianos over Napoleónicos. Before we continue with this ball game, we, of course, need to have a word from another of our wonderful sponsors. Louisa, the booth is yours.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. Who should we have a word about today, folks? You know what? We only went halfway through the classifieds last time. Let's read some more of those. So these are the classifieds from the Gacetilla, which are being made public. We're announcing them, so you'll know what's going on. Caution! We beseech subscribers who wish to continue receiving our newspaper to please pay the receipts presented to them by their respective agents. Those from towns where we do not have agents can send in the cost of their subscription in mailing stamps. We pray to all that they help us avoid the disgust of suspending the wide distribution of the bulletin. Folks, you gotta pay for the newspaper if you want it. How are they gonna keep making it if you don't pay it? Send them those mailing stamps. Up next, we have a complaint. Neighbors of the former town of Cangrejos. Today, a Capitoline barrio complain that they cannot find meat in their neighborhood most days and hope that the slaughterhouse merchants adopt some measure to avoid the tragedy of said neighborhood's population being unable to eat meat every day. You have to eat meat every day. It's so important. How are you going to play baseball otherwise?
This is particularly funny in light of how many ball players are, like full-on crunchy kale types.
See, that makes sense now. At the time, I feel like to be healthy, you'd eschew smoking, which I know is a big deal. And I know some people like Honus Wagner did do that. And that would be, you'd be a health nut if you were going to smoke. And even then, I feel like you probably would want to eat a lot of beef because it's red meat and you need to build your muscles with red meat. I feel like that would be common wisdom in 1906.
Yeah, and inject yourself with serum made from goat testicles.
Well, that's just common sense.
Pud Galvin straight up did that. That's not a joke. That a real Major League Baseball player really did do that. Verified. There are rumors that other ball players did it, but we know for sure about one of them.
That's great. Wasn't there an ancient either Greek or Roman philosopher who said you should have infusions of sheep blood, specifically ram's blood, to make yourself more vital, which sounds extremely dangerous.
That, I don't even know how they would have gotten, unless you drank it. I don't know how else they would have been able to inject it into you.
I think they cut the veins and then tried to introduce blood that way, and much like bloodletting, I don't think that anything went in, so maybe that's how people didn't die from that, because it sounds terrible.
Yeah, we've said a lot of stuff on these broadcasts. This might be the first time I am genuinely disgusted by the content of what we're advertising, or talking about,
Fair enough. Fair enough, but we can all agree that the barrio should get their meat every day, so they are able to eat it.
Yes, that's right. Anything else from the Gacetilla?
Nope, I realized I read these already, so that's my bad, but they're still fun.
All right, then. We shall continue with the fourth inning of this game. Ben Brown, who bit Chaston now. He's sitting on 3 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, and 2 strikeouts. And I want to be clear, Ben Brown is supposed to be a really, really, really good pitcher. When he gets up to the major leagues, and I think he's in the major leagues now, Malin Nelson was the big-time prospect for the Corsos. They should make a hell of a 1-2 tandem up there.
Okay.
Of course, that's if we don't trade for him first, but, we'll see. At any rate, he will face Gabriel Gutierrez in the superhero name matchup for all time. Gutierrez is 0 for 1 on the day. On the 1-0 count, Gutierrez rolls that one to the second baseman, and that's a good throw on the run from Buchanan to Martin. He's out. Slider there from Brown down in the zone. Here comes Narciso Rodriguez. He's 0 for 1 on the day. 1 out, bases empty. A 2-2 count here. And he strikes him out. Rodriguez goes for the cutter up in the zone and can't make contact. That is the 3rd strikeout for Brown now, so they're even. Here comes Keith McIntyre, the catcher. He's 0 for 1. Brown looking for a little revenge after he snuffed out that promising inning by throwing out a batter. And, hey, look, another 2-1 count. LVP batters just love 2-1 counts. That's their favorite thing in the world.
They also love hitting it right to the, is that the shortstop? Whoever that is. They love hitting the ball right there.
That's the second baseman. But, yeah, Buchanan couldn't quite bring it in, so he lets it go to center field. And McIntyre will be held to a single. Here comes Carlos Garcia, who's 0 for 1. Let's see if Brown can put him away. He's had trouble controlling people with 2 outs on the 1-2 count. Garcia hits that one high and deep. That's got to be out of here, and it is once again.
Woo!
Juan Carlos Garcia with a grilled cheese shot over the left field wall in Lajas. Once again, doubles their pleasure, doubles their fun, but most importantly, doubles their score. Just a little bit farther than Fernando Palma's homer, and Yauco is now down 4-0 here in the fourth inning. Knuckle curve there, caught too much on the plate, should have broken below it, and Juan Carlos Garcia has his sixth homer of the year.
Amazing.
He's not even much of a power hitter. That's nice for him because it's not going to happen at the major league level. So Santiago Garcia comes up. He's 0 for 2 on the day. 2 outs and the base is empty. Brown's got to shake it off and get back into this one. Doesn't look like they're going to try and relieve him here. Base is empty and 2 outs. Garcia cracks that one through. It goes into right field, and
Did it slip out of the second baseman's hand? It looked like it caught up for a second there.
No, he came up short.
Ah.
It'll be a single. Yeah, the fielding doctrine is if you can't securely catch it, let it go by you and leave it up to the guy behind you to catch it.
Okay.
Fernando Olivares next up. He, of course, pardon me, I said Palma. It was Olivares who hit that first stinger. So he's 1 for 2 with a ribby on the day, that ribby being himself, with 2 outs and a man on first. Can he do any further damage to Brown? Ooh, he tried for one, but that doesn't have quite enough on it. Espinosa puts the glove up, and he ends the inning. A couple batters late here. Lajas, another 3 hits, another 2 runs, one of which was, well, the 2-run shot that added those 2. The Fobianos increase their lead once again. That is more home runs. I would put it to you that we have just seen more home runs in this game than we have probably seen in any broadcast, in all of the rest of the broadcasts that we have made in 2025.
I think you're right. It's a shame I love a home run, but they are so rare when we're watching. And apparently they're not that rare when the game plays by itself. But when we observe it, no home runs.
I tried to trade for Connor Guest. The Reyes won't let me have him.
Well, you can't take it from the Reyes. Come on.
I offered them a great package of players. All right, the Reyes are not going anywhere this year. They should invest in restocking the prospects so that they can have a good time next year. I offered them lots of great players. They didn't want any of them. I realize I sound like the president tweeting right now, but it is true. I did do that, and they know what they have. Connor Guest is the best player on their team by far. He's one of the best players in the Liga Nacional Puertorriqueña. He's probably the best Welsh player going right now. But yeah, they were not willing to move no matter what. Offered cash, offered players. They did not care.
They want those home runs.
They sure do. He's currently leading the entire league, I believe. He's got 25 on the year.
Amazing. Maybe he's good publicity for them.
Probably. Yeah, he's making the money off of the jerseys, question mark, that they're selling.
The hand-stitched linen jerseys, yes.
Yeah, you have to wait in the shop while they do that for you. It takes like 3 days.
How many letters in your last name? Okay, can you come back next week?
Yeah, actually, people don't know this, but in the LMP verse, the invention of screen printing was hastened severely by having to print Spanish names with accents and everything onto jerseys. The embroidery work was just too much. Anyway,
That's true.
Bottom of the fourth, Hector Blanco back to work. 39 pitches over 3 innings. 1 hit, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. He faces Alvaro Santos, who is sitting on that 824 OPS. He, I believe, got plunked last time he came up. He goes after the first pitch, and it's a chopper right to the second baseman, who gets to the chopper and throws to first for the out. I think it's quite amazing for Saturnin Silvestre to have a comic book name that is also named after two different Roman deities.
That's true. Could you...
One of which is related, Saturn, the Roman god, related to the harvest, and then, of course, Silvestre, related to the wild woodlands. So you've got very different stuff going on there.
Could you develop a superhero or villain character from those two names?
No.
Okay.
I tried, but I can't imagine. Certainly not.
That's why
What
we're
could
not Jack Kirby,
possibly
you know?
what could possibly be the linkage there? You know. I mean, unless he just kind of had a nature god's powers, but he wouldn't be Pan. He couldn't be.
Right.
Saturn is the embodiment of order, and the when Saturn ruled, that was the golden
What
age.
if what if he's super goth and he's about dark, mysterious woods, etc.?
Oh, interesting. Yeah, and he has miles to go before he sleeps.
Yes.
I gotcha.
The Frost.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, the Puerto Rican hero
And it doesn't involve
that
either of his
evokes
names.
noted Puerto Rican poet Robert Frost. His birth name was Roberto Nieves, surely.
Great, we
Why
did it.
don't more people watch these streams? God damn it. We are out here doing comedy.
We can pitch this to Stanley, no problem. This is a great idea.
Excelsior. Wait, hang on. Did you just say we can pitch this to Stan Lee?
Yeah.
Are you holding a seance anytime soon?
This is in the realm of fantasy. That's where all of these games take place.
Yeah.
And I can say whatever bullshit I want.
That's a good
frankly.
point. According to in the LMP verse, Stanley hasn't even been born yet.
Oh, it's true.
Yeah, Excelsior indeed.
H.G. Wells, what's he up to? Does he take comic book suggestions?
Ooh, that's a good point. H.G. Wells, what would he be doing? Well, he'd probably be a Crown of the Four Flowers guy. He'd be in there following the English baseball championship.
That is true.
Was he from London? H.G. Wells?
Don't remember what his whole deal
He was, so he'd be a London Fog fan.
That makes sense.
Yeah. He's called Birdie by his family. That's just weird.
That is weird.
Yeah.
Those nicknames that have nothing to do with the name, never really cared for those.
Yeah. Yeah. Not a fan, really. Although he
Hank
kind of
for Henry, I don't think so.
You know, I did find out the other day that Bob is an old enough nickname for Robert. That goes all the way back to like the ages where Englishmen were being called things like Athelstan.
Interesting.
I knew Robin existed then. I didn't think Bob did. That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Anyway, here we go. Vicente Martin in the bottom of the fourth with one out and the base is empty. 1-1 count. He had a ground out back in the bottom of the first, and here that might actually no. It doesn't get past the first baseman. Looked like it was about to skip past Palma, but he played it well, underhanded it to first, and Martin is retired. 2 outs and the base is empty, and here comes Kenneth Buchanan. Let's see if he can show a little more life here. Blanco has just been whipsawing his way through this entire lineup. Buchanan is 0 for 1 on the day. He grounded out to third last time, and here on the 1-1 count, does the exact same thing. It's weird how many of these at-bats are ending the same way.
It's true. I'm thinking of superheroes again, so I gotta say, Hector Blanco, the horseman with the pale horse. Death? Think about it.
What?
Hector, the hero, was a horseman, correct? He was known as that. Known for it.
Only, I mean, I have trouble thinking of ancient Greek warriors as horsemen because they didn't actually ride. They drove, right? They were charioteers.
Right.
So it's not the same as what the Romans had actual knights in the way that we think of them, like guys who have armor and are richer than the general population, and they work off of horses. So yeah, I do have, but I do think you're right. I think he's referred to as a lord of horses or something like that in the Iliad.
And then Blanco, white, a pale horse. So that's where I'm at.
Isn't the pale horse was like, again, this might be a Game of Thrones thing. Isn't that the nickname for a disease of some sort? The pale mare or something? The gray mare.
That's
I
what I
was thinking of.
Okay.
That is a Game of Thrones thing.
Okay.
I think it's using mare in the same way that it's used in nightmare, where it's not referring to a literal horse. It's a word for kind of a danger or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, top of the fifth. Here we go. Ben Brown back to working as Silvestre, Palma, and Laurel. And I also just realized, by the way, check this out. Check this out. This is incredible. Olivares, olives. Silvestre,
Yep.
woods. Palma, palm. Laurel, laurel.
That's very good.
That's the source of their power. They got a whole damn forest in the middle of their lineup right there.
I love the thought that they have to use bats of their wood type. Olive
Yes,
wood, that's
olive.
decent, although it's a bit too springy, I
I
think.
was
But
gonna
when you get
say,
down, by the time you try to you try to fashion yourself a bat from a palm branch, which is a grass, that would be disastrous. That would
yeah,
never work.
I don't think. I think you'd have to weave them effectively like wicker almost. You'd have to be weaving it so tight that I would imagine the fronds would just break against each other. It wouldn't work.
Oh, cool wicker bat. I
I
love it.
mean, at the time, I don't think. Well, no, bats were regulated in 1894. I remember that because that was the year like offense just kind of exploded across both leagues, and after that, they said, okay, we need to get a control on this bat situation because you guys are just doing whatever you want out there. It's not acceptable. All right, Silvestre, I believe here is officially entering the 1148. Do you remember if that was during the anarchy in England?
No, I don't.
It
Wait,
was
yes.
1138 to
Yes, yes, yes,
1153.
yes. Maud and Steven.
That's right.
Matilda. Maud. There's another
Yep.
nickname I do not care for. No.
Maud?
Maud for Matilda? No, thank you.
Was that okay? So my understanding was that Matilda was the Latinization of Maud, or sort of kind of the other. Because I thought Maud was an actual name.
I don't know, but as a
Okay.
nickname, no.
All right. Top of the fifth, Silvestre with his 1148 OPS facing Ben Brown, 75 pitches over 4 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts, pitching a pretty bad game. Silvestre hit a triple and a double in this game, and here he strikes out. Brown gets some revenge with that knuckle curve. Here comes Fernando Palma, the third of the Woodsmen. He's 1 for 1 with a ribby on the day. He does look like a man who's using palm fronds, you're right. That is getting through the first baseman's legs there. Palma runs it out, and he's got himself a single. For some reason, this refers to Buchanan, but he wasn't the one trying to field it. Here comes Alvaro Laurel, 0 for 2 on the day with a man on first and 1 out. 2-2 count. And he strikes out. Didn't want to rest on his laurels, and he paid for it. That's the 5th strikeout for Ben Brown on that knuckle curve where he gave up that dinger. Gabriel Gutierrez, he's 0 for 2 on the day. Let's see what's happening. Oh, somebody got injured. I just got news that Gerardo Torres, who plays for the Culebra developmental team, pitching against Luquillo, was just injured.
Ah, shame.
2 outs and a man on first for Gabriel Gutierrez, who's 0 for 2 on the day. 0-1 count. He cracks that one right to third base. He's got it, throws to second. Nunez to Buchanan, and Palma is out. That retires the side. First time they've been able to control the Fobianos in a couple of innings. Let's see if that fires up the offense and gets them moving. Brown with a good splitter there away from Gutierrez to get him to swing into that. Took advantage of a cooling hitter. Nunez, Beltran, and Mendez are up here in the bottom of the fifth, against Hector Blanco, who's at 46 pitches over 4 innings, 1 hit, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts. I am also informed that a player was ejected in the 5th inning for arguing a strike call between Manatí and Dorado. And
Darn.
here. Let's see. So I'm just gonna look because I need to find out. So that's the Oplitas who are playing the Defensores. And I would like to report that the name of this player, he is Haitian, which might go some way to explaining this. His name is, in fact, Diego Preux. As in
What?
Earn Brew.
Ah, I see. Okay.
Great name.
It is a good name.
All right, here we go. Jesus Nunez, 0 for
Probably
1.
does. I get it. The hoplites. It took
Mm-hmm.
me a minute to think of it in my own way, but I understand now. Yes, great.
Nunez, I believe, is about to get plunked as well, and that is exactly what happens. On a
Oh,
3-1 count there, Blanco, instead of going for the strike, puts him on base. Here comes Arsenio Beltran, who's 0 for 1. 0-2 count. And Beltran strikes out on a pitch that was nowhere near the zone.
darn
Fourth
it.
strikeout for Hector Blanco, cutter in the dirt, and he gets him. 1 out, man on first for Edmundo Mendez, who's 0 for 1. In July, he is hitting 088. Horrifying. First pitch after he struck out back in the second, he hits that one, goes to first base for 1, and Palma is able to get the fielder's choice at second. They'll retire the lead runner, but no double play there. Mendez makes it to first base with 2 outs, and here comes Eufrasio Espinosa, who did get a hit. In fact, he's gotten the only hit the Napoleónicos have been able to scratch out in this game. Let's see what happens with 2 outs and a man on first. Can he at least extend the inning here? First pitch as well, and this time, Mendez taking off for second. Looks like he's in there. Mendez collects his 4th stolen base. Daring move there, especially since there's no double play on. Blanco may be beginning to tire out a little bit, but let's see what happens. 2-2 count, and Espinosa strikes out on the slider. His 60th strikeout of the season. That retires the side. 5th strikeout for Blanco, who is pitching like a god right now.
Great.
We're through 5 innings. Before we continue, we have 1 inning left until we need to have another word from our sponsors, but it should be time to talk about something else that happened in the long ago history of the Liga Nacional Puertorriqueña. Luisa, the booth is all yours.
Thank you. I want to tell you folks about something that happened on July 18th, 1886. On that day, Carlos Chavez of the Pescadores de Salinas, nicknamed El Disparate, which means nonsense, for his extremely weird delivery, strikes out 15 Guardacostas de Catano. He had already done so 9 times, including on July 6th that same year, and would do it again on July 29th and August 9th. There were 15 strikeout games in 1886, and Chavez threw 6 of them. That's incredible. I guess that weird delivery really works for him. I have to wonder what that would look like. I've seen video of major league players who have such a weird delivery, the way they move their body on the mound, that it kind of impedes their ability to pitch. Sometimes they step too far sideways, or they move back and forth in a weird way, and that's always so bizarre to me. It's amazing they ever developed pitching in that style. In 1886, I'm trying to remember if we followed the Ingenieros at that time.
Yes, we did. The Ingenieros won in 1886. That was the third. That was the 4th in a row title they got before
Nice.
they handed it over to the Reyes in '87.
Did they ever have to face off against Carlos Chavez?
Maybe. Hang on. Did they ever face? Yes, and in fact, in the only matchup they had against Salinas, because that would have had to be the national championship. Salinas was in the other league. In the only matchup they had between the two of them, Salinas won 5-4, so 9 in 9 games.
Oh man, it's a real fight.
Yeah. Carlos Chavez, by the way, incredible player, obviously. He had that delivery because they did not structure that at all. In the 1800s, it was just do whatever the hell you want. One of 3 pitchers to end with 500 wins in the 19th century.
Mm-hmm.
He pitched, let's see here, 849 games, and he
Wow.
by far leads in total strikeouts. He struck out, get ready for this, 4,638 batters,
What? That's insane. That feels
including
like more than all the batters in the entire league. It can't be.
including he is, I believe, the only person to have logged. Yeah, he is the only person to have logged a season over 450 strikeouts, and he did that twice. He struck out
Wow.
that year, 1886, he struck out 458. In 1884, 2 years before, he struck out 492.
Wow. Is he up there as one of the best pitchers of the league ever?
100%. He is one of only two pitchers to win the Triple Crown in the 1800s. He won it twice in 1892 and 1895. The only other pitcher to do that is Neron Jimenez, also known as El Pálido, because he is very pale. Neron Jimenez won it in 1890 and 1895, so Chavez and Jimenez both won it in their leagues. Jimenez is still pitching. He is an ingeniero, and he's rather old, but he's gotten back to it this year. He kind of, I don't really know how to put this. Basically, just kind of got back in shape. He took a couple years where he was just having a lot of trouble, but this year he's back, and he's doing much better than he was. But Chavez, I mean, he was incredible. I think he won 7 Excelentísimos. Yeah, he won 84, 85, 86, 88. Then he took a few years off, 92, 94, and 95. I believe that's a record. I don't think Jimenez only won 4. So
It's amazing that a pitcher known for a weird delivery would be so fundamentally good at pitching as well.
at the time, I think you could deceive batters, so completely that having a weird delivery was an advantage. Once it became regulated, then you had a lot more trouble. And by the way, I'm wrong. Neron Jimenez won 5. He won 1888, 89, 1991, and of course 95.
Nice.
But to be fair, Neron Jimenez was competing with the rest of his rotation because Ingenieros pitchers won every year except, so these are all the years that an Ingeniero pitcher won the best pitcher award. Petronio Alvarez won 85-86, Jimenez won 88 to 91, Amancio Luna won 1892, Amancio Luna won again 1894, Jimenez won 1895, Luna won 1896, and Alvarez won 1897. So between
Amazing.
for long periods of time, if you were not an ingeniero or a Ray, you were not winning the pitching award. Just give it up.
Well, yeah, it sounds like it.
All right, let's get back to it. Top of the 6th inning, Ben Brown. 5 innings, 93 pitches, 8 hits, 4 strikeouts, 1 walk, 8 hits, 4 earned runs, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. He faces Narciso Rodriguez, who struck out back in the 4th. He's over 2 on the day. Here goes nothing. 0-2 count on him. And he gets him again. 6 strikeouts for Ben Brown as he now faces Keith McIntyre, who's 1 for 2 on the day. 1 out and the base is empty. And on a 2-2 count to Keith McIntyre, does he get him? He does! Brown, strikeout number 7 with the splitter there. And he's at least trying to pitch his way effectively. He'll face Juan Carlos Garcia, who hit that dinger off of him. And scored 2 more runs. Can he finish off this inning? He's got to be a little bit afraid here. 2-2 count against Garcia. And he gets him! Ben Brown strikes out the side in the 6th. Gets a little bit of revenge on the guy who took him deep last time. And we are through 6 for the Fobianos. They remain up 4-0. But the great thing about an LVP game is you are never truly out of it. There's so much BS that can happen in these games. Just tumultuous play on every level. So the Napoleónicos are down, but they are not out. Xyzzy Plugh struck out back in the 3rd inning. He's 0 for 1 on the day as he drew a walk in his first at-bat. Let's see what he does in this one. If he can lead off the inning and get them started, that would be great. But he doesn't. He strikes out for the 2nd time with a curveball. Strikeout number 6 for Blanco. And here comes Herminio Argueta, who's 0 for 2 on the day. 1 out, bases empty. A 1-2 count. And Argueta strikes out as well. Blanco, strikeout number 7. Here comes Santos, 2 outs, and the base is empty. 0 for 1 on the day. He got plunked in a previous at-bat here. Santos launches that one into deep center field. It does not cross the plane, hits the warning track there. It'll be down for extra bases as the center fielder has to go chase it down. They'll hit the cutoff man. Are they going to go for it? He's going home. Santos is going to try to make the play at the plate. He is safe.
Yes! He stole home. I don't believe it.
It is an inside the park home run for Alvaro Santos here, and the Fobianos are denied the shutout. What a play. Alvaro Santos getting out of the box, knowing all the way that was going to land. He knew he could make 3 happen, as the center fielder couldn't quite corral the ball quickly enough. Launches that ball to the cutoff man. Santos already charging past third. There goes the second baseman throwing. Silvestre's throw not in time. And he gets there past McIntyre. Beautiful play from Alvaro Santos. At least he gets one of their own back. And this remains an exciting ball game thanks to Alvaro Santos there.
He heard me talking about how he was always going to be kind of mediocre. And he thought, you know what? I'll show you mediocre. He proved me.
He's an incredibly slow runner, too. Mm-hmm. Wow. Beautifully done there. He is intelligent and well-spoken, we are told.
Nice.
2 outs.
So he's the guy they send out to say that he's just glad that the team gave 110%
exactly,
to the reporters afterwards.
Good team, great team, 100%. You're right. Alvaro Santos is the Awesomataz Buckshank of the Napoleónicos de Yauco. He also went to, quote-unquote, Stanford. Here comes Vicente Martin. He's over 2 on the day. 2 outs, base is empty.
He's nice. Monocolor walls make me think they should have someone go out there and paint a dot where every ball hits the wall.
Vicente Martin hits a beautiful double down the line there.
Nice. Because there'll be a lot clustered just off to the right there today.
Yeah. I wonder if we can see spray charts for the batters here. Let's see. Is that possible? I know we can see them normally, but... Oh, interesting. So I guess they're not tracking spray chart. Oh, that's why all the splits were like 1 at bat and so on, because they're not tracking the hits for everybody, for the LVP players. Like over the course of the entire season.
You're saying. Okay.
You see how there's only 3 dots here?
Yes.
If this were an LMP player, you would see all of their hits over the course of the season. The game is not tracking them for minor leaguers, is my guess.
What's the red and green? I see the little color chart there, but the letters next to it don't mean anything to me.
The red is ground out. The green is a double.
Aha, okay.
Which I don't think is the same color scheme that MLB uses, but whatever. Ken Buchanan is up next. He's 0 for 2. He could make this a 1-run game if he gets a hold of a ball, but I feel like I've been putting too much pressure onto him, so let's see what happens. Have some fun out there, Ken. He swings on that one, lifts it into left field, left center there, but it's an easy catch for Garcia, and that ends the inning. We are through 6. Just a 1-run on the inside the park homer from Alvaro Santos as they narrow the gap. Before we continue, we need to have what we hope to be the last word from our sponsors. Louisa, the booth is once again yours.
Thank you. Let's see. In the vein of classified ads, I would like to tell you folks about a wonderful opportunity. This is a business that's for sale. As of 3 Kings Day, January 6th, 1871. In the town of Naguabo, grocery store, situated on Calle del Comercio, including all its goods and appliances. Furthermore, transferred would be the house also located on this property, built in wood and roofed with clay tiles and galvanized iron. Comforts galore for a numerous family, a bread oven, a farmyard, and other rooms. All accounts transferable with the establishment. For more information, direct yourselves to Senores Orcasitas and Company in the capital, or to their agent, Don Emilio Bustamante, in the aforementioned town. I like this. It's easy to hear about a large family house with an attached grocery store right on the commercial road and feel like it's so exciting. You feel like you're going to live in a little picture book being there. Which I'm sure is not accurate. It's hard work to run a store, but it is nice to think about. I wonder what types of appliances were part of a standard grocery store at the time. I'm imagining things to cut meat, like a butcher's station. Because even if it's not electrically powered, which it might have been at this time, but even if it wasn't electrically powered, they would have like treadle. I know they had treadle spinning like meat slicers, things like that. I wonder if something like that would be included.
Treadle? Is that what you said?
Yeah, where you have to move your foot like a treadle sewing machine, but it's a spinning blade so you can cut meats.
Yeah, gotcha. I've been doing the math on trying to think of a some kind of Jethro Tull joke with this, but all I can come up with is Jethro's skull, and you don't tend to eat that part of the animal, so.
Head cheese. That's gotta be.
It,
That's gotta be available in a grocery store in 1906, I think.
is it the skull though? Does it include the bones and all that?
It is not the skull. You do boil the skull, but then you
Yeah,
do pick the meat off of it.
yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
Jethro's skull would anyway be obviously much better as like a Halloween costume.
That's true. You know, a bone flute, you're all set.
There you go, perfect. And a piano is technically that's well, it would have been back in the day. It
Ooh,
would have been bone.
yeah.
The other day we got a phishing scam at my workplace that was the way I figured this out. So I wasn't at work that day, and we got this email saying that somebody was offering a full grand piano for sale.
Never worn.
Yeah. So I read it and I kind of went like, I mean, I have no use for a grand piano, but I have always wanted to learn to play. So like, if it and I'm kind of reading it, and I'm almost like, why, why are you bringing this to our attention? And the way that I figured out it had to be a phishing scam before I looked at the email address and confirmed it, because it was sent using my boss's name.
Ah, yeah.
The way I figured it out is that it said one of us was offering that, one of our employees, fellow coworkers, and I'm going, who the hell in this building has a grand piano that they are giving away?
Yeah, good question.
And then, of course, the employee's name also made no sense with that. But for a second, I got mildly excited about the prospect of having an interesting musical instrument in my domicile.
Oh, that's a dream.
Well, in the top of the seventh here, it looks like they're going to let Ben Brown wear it. He's sitting on 107 pitches over 6 innings, 8 hits, 4 runs, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts. And he gets to face the top of the lineup again, starting with Santiago Garcia, who's 1 for 3 on the day. Brown, however, seems to have reached and dug deep in there and gotten some inner strength going. He gets a grounder here from Plugh, who sends it over to first. That's his first fielding chance all day, I think.
Wow.
Olivares comes up next. He's 1 for 3 with a dinger. And on a 3-1 count here, Brown walks him. Maybe afraid of another home run there. That's Brown's second walk, and he'll now face Silvestre, who is back out of the anarchy, into Henry the first. He's 2 for 3 on the day. 1-2 count. Silvestre bangs it up the middle. That's his third hit of the game, and looks like that's going to be a single. So he's 3/4 of the way to a cycle. He has a shot if he can get a home run. Olivares to second on that one, and here comes Fernando Palma with 2 on and 1 out. That knuckle curve down in the zone finally came back to bite him in the ass. Palma is 2 for 2 plus a walk and a ribby. Full count. First time we've seen that. And that gets sent into right field, and it lands. It'll be safe. Espinosa has it out there, and that will load the bases on the 10th base hit of the game for the
Oh, man.
Fobianos. With one out, Laurel, they need a cheap out here. They need a strikeout. They need a ground out. And I don't know if Brown's going to be able to give them that on the 128 pitches he's sitting on, especially because they have literally 3 other pitchers, one of whom is currently at shortstop.
What can Brown do for you, right? Remember?
Yep. Well, he gets the strikeout there. 9th
Nice!
strikeout of the day for Ben Brown. By the way, while we've been talking, I am informed that Marco Baca, who plays for pitches for the Trujillo Alto developmental team, has walked 10 batters today.
Wow, that's bad.
Yeah, he's actually doing quite well otherwise, question mark.
How was that possible?
Well, so he's sitting on an 11-3 record at 1.69 ERA.
Nice.
Even a decent fielding independent pitching. I guess the developmental leagues are just more, they allow for more walks than the LNP does. Like the average level of walks is just higher. So you can walk more guys and still be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and here's your answer. He's only given up 4 homers. In this league, that's pretty impressive. Because he's hit 14 guys. So they're just more accepting that a pitcher's just kind of going to do a silly one now and again.
Mm-hmm.
2 outs, bases loaded for Gabriel Gutierrez, who's 0 for 3. Full count coming up. Big at bat here. He walked him with the bases loaded.
What the heck? You just give them
Lajas
extra runs
is now up 5-1. A 10-pitch at bat from Gabriel Gutierrez there, ending on a cutter that probably should have been called strike 3. And here comes Narciso Rodriguez, who's 0 for 3. He struck out back in the 6th inning. That's the last inning. That tells you how long this has been going. The bases remain loaded with 2 outs. And on a 2-2 count, Rodriguez rolls that one back to Brown. He's got it. Throws to first. He's safe.
What?
It's an infield single. Silvestre scores. And Lajas is up 6-1 now.
What? Wasn't he closer to home? Why didn't he throw it to the catcher?
Great question. But he definitely didn't make the throw in time. The Fobianos extend their lead here. And they are now up 6-1 with the bases still loaded and 2 outs. Here comes Keith McIntyre against the new pitcher, Aldemar Saldaña. One of the other starters will come in. He's currently sitting on 145 and a third innings, 3.10 record, 57 walks, 113 strikeouts, ERA of 3.47. Much worse pitcher. He came over just a few days ago from Guayama, actually.
He's 22. He looks 12.
He sure does. Fastball, curveball, changeup, and sinker guy. Not a guy you're particularly looking to develop into a really systematic pitcher. He's never going to be that guy. Guayama sent him as part of a big prospect package to get Marco Torres, the catcher for the Corsos, whom you may remember when we played the Corsos in the playoffs a few years ago, just seemed to draw a walk literally every at-bat.
Mm-hmm.
That's the guy. Guayama needed somebody who could kind of do that. And by the way, Guayama's other catcher is named Marco as well. So they have 2 Marcos. One of them should change his name to Polo. Keith McIntyre. 2-1 count. He hits that one to the second baseman who drops it. Buchanan can't hold on to it. That's an error. Palma scores. Gutierrez to third. The bases remain loaded, and it's 7-1 now. Here comes Juan Carlos Garcia, who already hit that dinger. And wouldn't it be amazing to see a grand slam?
That'll be so good.
Is it going to happen? First pitch to him. Launches
Sounds
that
good.
one. It's not going to make it, but it is going to land, and that's going to score some more runs. The Fobianos just all over the field. Looks like they went for a 2-run single, I believe. Indeed, 2 scores there. The Fobianos are up 9-1 after scoring 5 here in the top of the 7th. Santiago Garcia comes back up. He's 1 for 4 on the day, 2 on and 2 outs. And boy, they have just not been able to get out of this inning no matter what they do, but that should do it, assuming they hold on to the ball. Plugh looking for it, and he's got it, and finally, mercifully, that inning ends. Brutal inning if you're the Napoleónicos.
Yeah. Although I feel less bad for them. I felt bad for them before, but they did so much to cause those 5 runs this inning. I don't feel so bad for them now.
I completely understand that. Here comes Elian Hidalgo, number 51, to pinch hit for the Napoleónicos here. He's sitting on an 801 OPS. They will be facing Hector Blanco, who 77 pitches in, over 6 innings, has allowed 3 hits, has an earned run, a walk, and 7 strikeouts. Let's see if Hidalgo can get something going against him. He'll take Blanco to a full count and draw the walk. A cutter misses low. That's Blanco's second walk of the game, pardon me. And if you're Blanco, you've got to be feeling pretty good. None of your plunks or walks have resulted in anything for the other team. So you're probably not worried at all here. Which is why you got away with throwing him literally 6 cutters in a row. You now face Arsenio Beltran, who's over 2. He struck out back in the 5th inning. Can he do something here? 1-2 count. Nope. He strikes out looking. Man, what is it with players named Beltran and striking out looking when they need you? That's Blanco's 8th strikeout of the night, and now, or afternoon as it is, and he will now face Edmundo Mendez, who's over 2 on the day. First pitch to him. Oh, they're running. Hidalgo. Looks like they're just going to give him that. That's his first steal. Was that defensive indifference, I wonder? Nope. McIntyre meant to throw, just couldn't do it. All right, man on second, 0-1 count there, as that changeup was a strike. 1 out, 2-2 count. And he strikes out. Blanco, 9th strikeout of the night, as they just can't get anything going against him. Here comes Espinosa, who's 1 for 2. 3-0 count to him. He walks. Blanco has 3 on the night, and here comes another pinch hitter, number 39, Alarico Castellanos, who is sitting on a 518 OPS, 3 dingers, 8 runs batted in. I'm not sure he's the guy I would put in here, but here goes nothing, I suppose. 0-2 count, and sure enough, he also strikes out. Hey, Xyzzy could have done that. 10th strikeout of the night for Hector Blanco, and the side is retired. 2 base runners here in the inning. The Napoleónicos prove unable to score. They remain down 9-1. We head into the top of the 8th. Ademar Saldaña, 7 pitches to get that first out, over which he allowed something like 2 more runs to score. 1 hit. He faces Olivares, who is 1 for 3 with that home run he hit. Well, now it feels like oh so long ago.
And very far away.
Exactly. 1-2 count. Rolls that one right back to Saldaña. He's got it. Turns. Makes the throw to first. And that's out number 1, or it should be anyway, and it is. Saturnin Silvestre comes up. He's 3 for 4. Can he get the homer he needs to complete the cycle? This might be his last at-bat, though who knows. First pitch here. Oh my God, he's done it!
What?
That's the cycle for Saturnin Silvestre. He's gone all the way around. Single, double, triple, and home run. His 5th homer of the season, just over the wall. And the Fobianos increase their lead. It is 10-1.
Wow. He's got to be so happy.
Hitting for the cycle is one of those things that's like, it's cool as hell. Don't get me wrong. No, nobody will tell you it's not. But it's also like not important, really.
Yes. Yeah. Sure. It's like the Yahtzee where you have to get 1 of each number. It's like, okay, well, that's not really important. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. 3rd home run hit in this one by the Fobianos. 4th overall. Here comes, Saldaña takes his first earned run, and he now faces Palma, who is 3 for 3. He's got a chance at a 4-hit night here. And on the 1-1 count, Palma swings on that one, chops it to the new shortstop there. Throws over to first. Buchanan has it as he's moved over to short, and Palma is retired. Castellanos now at second. Elian Hidalgo at third. Vicente Martin moving over to first. And here comes Laurel, who's over 4. One of the few batters they've been able to control so far. And on the 2-1 count, Laurel knocks that one right to Castellanos. He launches it over to first. And that's out. Number 3. Laurel is retired. The Fobianos pick up another run, and Lajas now leads 10-1 as we head into the bottom of the 8th.
Incredible.
Boy, this has been an ass kicking.
It really has.
Hector Blancos, 7 innings on exactly 100 pitches, 3 hits, 1 run, 3 walks, and 10 strikeouts. Lajas also has not much in the way of relief pitching, but they've got, and they don't really need it if he's not going to get tired out. I also think it's very funny that they're the Lajas team, but they have a guy with the last name Lares, which is an entirely different town.
That's great.
Anyway, they will face Herminio Argueta, Alvaro Santos, and Vicente Martin. Argueta is 0 for 3 on the day. Blanco here is just buzzsawing against them. He launches that one right to the shortstop. Gutierrez has it, throws over to first. And it's a quality at bat, but he's getting nothing from that. A cutter down and away, and he couldn't make it work. Here comes Alvaro Santos, who of course had that inside the park home run last time he came up. He's 1 for 2. Comes up with 1 out and the base is empty. And Blanco, oh, here we go. That's a fly out to right. It looked for a second as though he either was going to get a line drive out of it and drop it on the ground, or perhaps, I thought for a second, maybe he'd actually draw the walk, but that did not happen. 2 outs and the base is empty, and here comes Gedeon Rivera, who is pinch hitting, number 44. OPS of 644, coincidentally. He's looking at a full count here. What's the payoff pitch going to look like? Ooh, bouncer! Gutierrez dives for it, and he can't bring it in. Too much air on that one. That extends the inning. It'll get through into left, and it'll be a single for Gedeon Rivera over there as Ken Buchanan comes up with a chance to make this slightly more respectable. See, I'm trying to keep my expectations realistic here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's reasonable.
And 2 outs. 2-2 count. Knocks that one through. Not quite. The first baseman has it again. Palma grabs it, steps on the bag, and Buchanan is out. The side is retired. The Fobianos remain in front 10-1, and before we see how much further they can just absolutely pants the hell out of the Napoleónicos, do we have, am I wrong, or don't we have another historical note we can add onto today's game?
We do. So on this date, July 18th, 1894, I can tell you that Ismael Mata of the Lecheros de Bayamon wins his 350th start. With 428 wins, he is tied for 11th all-time among 19th century pitchers, and is by far the winningest Bayamon pitcher of the 1800s. His runner-up, Gonzalo Farias, barely topped 300. So he's 150% over that and more.
Ismael Mata is one of those pitchers that basically got where he was because he stuck around forever.
Okay.
More than, he was never, like, incredible, if I remember correctly. I do remember looking him up the other day, and honestly, career-wise, he's about 8% better than an average pitcher over that length of time. But he also pitched for literally 20 seasons.
As a pitcher, that seems unusual. Doesn't that sort of wear you out faster than some other positions?
At the time, probably not, because injuries, you're not throwing hard, so the injuries are less common. Really, what injures you is either snapping off some really hardcore breaking balls or having to throw, 100 miles an hour. If you don't have to do either of those things, then your arm is going to put up with that stress a lot better.
Gotcha. Okay, well, good for him.
Really, the biggest, I honestly think this stream is just, the worthiness of this one is just how silly it got.
I agree. We came up with some great ideas for new comic books and names. We love to talk about names. Good stuff.
Yeah. I'm just letting everybody know the disaster could get worse. I did also write after 8th innings. So there is that.
At least you didn't write 8 innings.
That would make it look like I was trying to send you fake news about your toll account.
Your full-size grand piano.
It is interesting to me. Yeah, the idea that it never occurred to me, and it should have, how oxymoronic baby grand piano is. That's just a
Yes.
piano.
Yes. I wonder if there's a difference. I don't know enough about instruments.
I think a baby grand piano went to private school. Is the biggest thing.
A Nepo baby grand piano.
Boom. There we go. Nailed it.
Uh,
All right, here we go. Let's see how much worse it can get for Yauco here in the top of the ninth. Ademar Saldaña, 1 1/3 innings, over which he's allowed 2 hits and earned run, which was a homer that confirms Saturdín Silvestre's cycle. He's now hitting .397 on the year. He'll face Gutierrez, Rodriguez, and McIntyre. 0 for 3 with a run batted in. Gutierrez, Rodriguez, and McIntyre. Now that is a Puerto Rican law firm specifically. The fact that one of those guys has an English last name, Scottish last name.
yeah.
That is swung right to Castellanos. It was a shallow drive into right field to Castellanos, so it's kind of the opposite, and he throws it over to first. That's easy out number 1. Maybe they should have had him out there at second base to begin with. What was the other thing? Were you familiar? There was an NFL player nicknamed the Law Firm. Were you familiar with this guy?
No.
His name was Ben Jarvis Green Ellis with a hyphen in between Green and Ellis.
That does sound like
It sure does.
law firm name.
It's
That's very
good.
good.
Yeah. 1 out bases.
I thought originally you were saying it about Juan Carlos Garcia because it's 3 names, but that wasn't part of it for you.
No, it was Garcia, and Olivares. Like, there are so many law firms that are like, especially in Puerto Rico, but there are so many law firms that will be like Garcia, and then a different surname because it'll be father and son or 2 brothers or 2 cousins.
Yes.
Like that one Declaration of Independence signer whose 2 surnames are Patterson and different spellings, but they 2 Pattersons were cousins.
That's wild. I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, I remember having to not memorize, but I remember we had to learn a bunch of the Declaration of Independence signers, and we specifically asked about that guy because we're like, wait, there's a lot of Pattersons here, but like, this guy says Patterson. What's going on with that? I believe he's the guy that Patterson, New Jersey is named after.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I have a friend whose last name is Patterson with just 1 T, and it is so hard to remember. Just 1 T.
You're doing the thing where the Mitch Hedberg thing where his friend is named Lynn with an N, but his girlfriend was named Lynn with 2 N's or vice versa. And so when he's talking about his girlfriend, he has to hold on to the N for longer. He has to say my girlfriend Lynn, just to make sure everybody understands what's up.
Yeah. What I do like in a law firm is when, because being very specific about the rules, being lawyers, you have something like, I don't know, 2 brothers, say. So it's Garcia, then someone else, maybe an investor or just a lawyer they like, Olivares, and then Garcia, because then one of their sons joins. But they aren't going to put all the Garcias together because he's the last one to join, so he has to be the end.
Yes, exactly. I love that you say this is a concern for rules in the era where lawyers are repeatedly getting dinged by judges for like 1/3 of their case citations being generated by ChatGPT and being wrong.
But surely, in 1906, the trouble is, in my mind, even though it's half a century earlier, everything Dickens wrote about lawyers also still applies to 1906. So, like, really
100%,
Byzantine law books and dusty old desks and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. This is when it actually mattered to be able to read as a lawyer, as it turns out.
Yeah, true.
All right, here we go. Top of the 9th, 1 out. Narciso Rodriguez coming back in here. Let's see what's going to happen.
They're going to rack up anymore.
They might. Rodriguez. Ooh, there we go. Okay, that one dies early. And Joe Carey, now on the base there, is able to make it happen. Number 41 at first base. And they respond to this by bringing in a pinch hitter. That's so unsportsmanlike. No, not really. They're giving the backup a shot here. Eugenio Mesa, the clean table. is
Nice.
coming in. I actually think Mesa with a Z might mean something different, but I can't confirm that. Anyway, number 17, Eugenio Mesa, will now be pinch hitting for the Fobianos. He's currently sitting on a 526 OPS with no home runs and 3 runs batted in, 2 outs, bases empty. He's going to take him to a full count. Saldaña throwing the payoff pitch. And it's up the middle once again. More 2-out magic from the Fobianos to extend the inning here. Buchanan can't quite make it happen. Limited range there because, you'd think he'd be able to reach all the way to his home planet. But here we are.
He's enjoying a game of human baseball.
And here's, yes, your human sport. I wonder if he ever talks to, like, the 2 priests who are playing baseball.
There are 2 priests playing baseball?
There are 2 priests playing baseball. I don't know if one of them... Did one of them get released? Not, like, defrocked. Like, released by his team. Oh, man. One of them...
You gotta have nerves of steel to cut a priest from your team, right?
I mean, maybe. Is this the guy? Yeah, Aníbal Reyes, párroco. He's originally from Ceiba, but he was listed as being a Vatican national, so we assume he's got to be a priest. He really fell off the last couple of years. Last year, he was an absolutely terrible shortstop for Sidra and wasn't any better on second and third, so they cut him, and he went to the Valencianos, where everybody ends up after they get cut. So, good for him, I guess.
See.
And then there's...
Yeah.
I'm saying this because there's another guy that's referred to as párroco, which is effectively vicar, parish priest. But I can't remember who it is now. He might be too young. They might just be... Maybe his swing just looks like the other guy or something.
Maybe they're making fun of him.
Also possible,
Maybe he's really an uptight young person, and they're like, you're like a little priest.
Yeah. He's like, I don't like all these newfangled things, these novels. They should be put under interdict. When will the Pope say something about these trying to think. What would even be the newest form of entertainment? Radio, I guess? Is that even a thing at this point?
I'm thinking of pulp novels, but I'm not sure if that was just in the United States with like the romance of the West,
Oh, well, Westerns may have been, but we've read commercials for books that were definitely pulp novels. So
that's true.
He's complaining about like the generation of... This isn't a pulp generation, but he's definitely complaining about like Miguel de Unamuno, and this guy freaking hates San Manuel Bueno Martir. That's the book about a priest that reveals on his deathbed that he never believed in God. This guy's complaining about that one. He's like, there should be a pronouncement.
Yeah.
Why?
Some of the pulp novels we read about, they were framed as like, this is a true tale of medieval Spain or something, right? But they were like very lurid. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yes, of course. Which really isn't even new to them. That was going all the way back to like the 1500s and so on. That's
true.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway.
You can always say, this is a true tale of the past, and it is totally sexy, and you won't even believe it.
Exactly. Number 46, Miguel Angel Perez, now pitching for the... now hitting for the Fobianos. Sitting on a 716 OPS, 5 dingers, 17 runs batted in. He hits that one, line drive down the line, and we are off to the races. They have to play it off the bounce. Espinosa not getting rid of that one quickly enough for my taste, as Carey has to bring it in. He turns, throws to second, and they do not get the out, but I think Mesa did not try to score on that one. It's the 10th double for Miguel Angel Perez, and Saldaña goes back. I don't think human fists bend that way.
Oh boy, they sure don't. He's got a right arm attached to where his left arm was. It's a railroad accident.
That's a real... I'm trying to bend my arm that way. I think I can do it, but it hurts.
Miguel Angel. I don't know if I like that or dislike it. It's sure making me think something, though.
It is a fairly common combination of first and middle names. Huh. I guess the thought process was Miguel Arcangel. Saying Arcangel might be too arrogant, but Miguel Angel is okay.
Okay.
Weirdly, it's the only name you ever see with that. You don't see Gabriel Angel. You don't see Rafael Angel. There was a guy on the Ingenieros named Rafael Miguel, and his nickname was Dos Angeles.
That's very good.
That's a real Frankie Five Angels thing.
Nice.
All right, here we go. Santiago Garcia, 1 for 5 over the night. Can he get a second hit? He sure can. Dumps that one into center field. That's a blooper. It's going to score a
Right
run.
down the middle.
Let's see if they'll send Perez home on that one. Yes, they will. 2 more runs score, and the Fobianos are up 12-1. Wow.
Incredible.
Lajas
Disrespectful.
just not letting up on this one. And Garcia gets his second hit of the night. Here comes Fernando Olivares, who's 1 for 4 on the day. Saldaña now allowing 3 earned runs in 2 innings on 5 hits. 2 outs and a man still on first. Olivares here, who had a home run and a walk, strikes out to finish the top of the ninth. So, Yauco might be out, but if they're not, this is going to be the comeback of the damn century.
Yeah, for sure.
They've got 3 outs to score 12 runs, or at least 11 to make it go into extras. Here comes Elian Hidalgo as the first shot there. He's sitting on an 833 OPS. No home runs, 3 runs batted in. He faces Hector Blanco, who has just refused to give up here. 8 innings, over 122 pitches, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 3 walks, and 10 strikeouts. Let's see who wins this one. 2-0 count. That's a good hitter's count. Hidalgo rolls that one to Gutierrez at short. He catches it, has it on the hop, throws to first, and it's out number 1. Rafael Fernandez now pinch hitting, number 49, 586 OPS, 1 home run, 10 runs batted in. By the way, Miguel Angel Perez now in right field. Santiago Garcia substituting for Juan Carlos Garcia in center field. Here goes nothing. 0-1 count for Rafael Fernandez. Chops that one right back to Gutierrez, and I'm beginning to think that really the main thing you can do to be a good pitcher is just make sure the outs go to the shortstop.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
One last out, one last chance. It's number 33, Juan Palma. He's sitting on an 817 OPS, 4 dingers, 8 runs batted in. Blanco here, a chance to seal the legend. And it's a full count pitch. It couldn't get any better than this. Roller to Laurel at third. He throws to first. And this ball game is over.
Woo!
Lajas absolutely dominates the Napoleónicos here, 12-1. Yauco couldn't even get their own whiff of grape shot to even the scales at all. Now they shall go into exile on Elba and plot their revenge.
That's right.
Saturnin Silvestre, of course, is the focus of this news article, as he had a 4 for 5 day, including a single, double, triple, and home run, batting in 1 and scoring 3. He doubled in the first, tripled in the third, struck out in the 5th, singled in the 7th, and solo shotted Ademar Saldaña in the 8th over left field, just enough to get over the wall. Silvestre is now hitting .397, has 25 hits, 5 home runs, 11 runs batted in, 6 walks, .457 on-base percentage, and has scored 12 runs, all of this, in 17 games. And he better enjoy it, because it's not going to get much better than this for him. Hector Blanco gets the win on that one, 8-13 record, 9 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, which was earned, 3 walks, and 10 strikeouts, having allowed that inside the park home run and 2-hit batsman. And Ben Brown takes his 4th loss of the season, 6 2/3, 11 hits, 9 runs, 6 earned, 3 walks, and 9 strikeouts, allowing 2 dingers. Ademar Saldaña, 2 1/3 innings of relief, 5 hits, 3 runs, 1 strikeout, and 1 home run. He also came in with the bases loaded and allowed all 3 inherited runners to score. Xyzzy Plugh got a walk and a stolen base out of it. He is 27 for 27 on the year. Oh, hey, C. Seiler says hello. Sorry you're catching us just at the end here, but if you have time, when we get this out on YouTube, you got to watch this. This was very silly for everyone involved. Just a lot of ridiculous stuff. Very enjoyable stream. Thank you, Louisa. This was a lot of fun.
It was great. It was great. What a great Friday night.
All right, any final thoughts before we let everybody go?
This was a fun game. I'm glad I wasn't too invested in either team. So it was nice to just see the Fobianos really just run the board. That was great. I
Yeah,
loved it.
as much as we love the Naves, there are times when I miss just being able to go team by team and just have fun with it, see what happens.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the time you do get to see some ridiculous stuff like this, and you don't have to worry about it. It's sad not knowing these players ahead of time, but it works out. We got to
Mhm.
meet some guys tonight. If we ever see Ken Buchanan around, or if we see Saturnin Silvestre, we'll know these names. These are guys that are not going to leave our memories so very easily, or at least not mine. Well, we'll be back with the Naves probably next week as we head into the latter half of the season. We really want to get to the Copa Mundial. We really want to get to the Copa Mundial. And we should start designing those uniforms and releasing them hopefully within the next week or so. We've got 12 of them to design. We'll try to get through a couple of them a week and just be ready in time. Maybe three if we can do it. They should be relatively simple. Not the point. Until next week, this has been, as always, Isidro Montalvo Espinosa, broadcast coordinator for Liga Nacional Puertorriqueña en Vivo. Gente, buenas noches, gracias mil y Dios les bendiga.